What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well, and hopefully you've checked out yesterday's video. If you haven't yet watched it, do go check it out. But nonetheless, we're going to jump straight into things. We are going to start over on dollar, and in all fairness, not much has changed in terms of my bias, so this probably is going to be quite a short video. But yeah, make sure you checked out yesterday's video, and if you haven't yet subscribed or hit like or whatever, you know the drill. If you haven't done it yet, make sure to do it. So we're going to start on dollar. Why are we on GBP? Don't know. And you'll see our price has managed to rally, which is what I wanted to see, basically. So yesterday I was stating how I was happy for price to dip down into this range, which was a 15-minute fair value gap, I believe. Well, I was happy for price to it was a breakout. I was happy for price to dip down into the breakout and then trade on higher. You'll see that price failed to even get down below there, and we actually gapped higher above the Sunday opening price, which is nice to see. And you can see that price rallied quite nicely into, I say quite nicely, this is very high resistance price action, but we managed to rally up into our buy side liquidity target. So it's a nice day that we delivered to a premium, which is what I wanted to see. And again, if you watch yesterday's video, you'll know that if we're expecting a down close week, which we are, we do want to see the high get made on Monday or Tuesday, ideally Wednesday at a push. But I'd like to think that the Tuesday could potentially be that high of the week. So you'll see we made that high at 1 p.m. And then we do have quite a lot of high impact news tomorrow as well. So I am expecting a reversal as we move into Wednesday, just because again I'm expecting a down close week, and I am looking at this south side liquidity below here and seeing the way that price is just propping its way up. I think this is all manipulation for the market to then be sent lower. So I am paying close attention to that. Another thing I just noticed as well is looking at this gap. There's a price level right here. There's a large gap right here. So if we drag that gap out, you'll see how we're currently trading in that range. I don't know if this is too significant. I don't want to mess up the charts too much, but you can see our price managed to trade up into there. So I would like to think that we could see some resistance. If price fails to take out this high tomorrow, that would be ideal, because that would set us up for potential shorts, with the expectation then to run for Tuesday's low and start running into that Monday low, with the idea to get down into that south side liquidity target. So pretty much everything I said yesterday still remains the same, in that I'd like to see price rally back into this range. And go watch yesterday's video if you don't know what this range is. I think it's a weekly or daily. It's a weekly inversion. It's a weekly implied inversion fair value gap, right? And I was explaining yesterday how I should find resistance within it. So I'm happy for price to turn around in here. So now that we're in this range, this is where I'd be looking for my opportunities in terms of expecting dollar to be dropping off and finding resistance. So I hope that all makes sense. I know it sounds quite complicated right now. And what we can also do, which is quite interesting, is if we split this range up, you'll see that 50% level is significant, but look where we traded to, that 25% level as well. So it's interesting. I'm going to be studying this very closely tomorrow, because like I said, ideally I'd like to think that this is the high of the week, and then we can expect lower prices as we move into Wednesday and throughout the rest of the week, and then I'll be looking to get back below this Sunday opening price. But overall, generally speaking, such a very nice day. Very interesting how we dropped accumulated stops and rallied one more time. And like I said, if we fail to get above this buy side liquidity, that's perfectly fine with me, because that hints and tells me that we likely are bearish, and that it's struggling to get above highs like that. So yeah, I'm going to be paying close attention to that moving into the new day. Let's go to the 15-minute. Actually, let's go to the 5-minute. Take a closer look. Again, when I say high resistance, I mean look, a lot of downwards, upwards price action. And tomorrow we do have FOMC minutes, so it's going to be, I think towards the latter part of the day, we're going to see a lot of movement or expansion in one direction, and I'd like to think that would be lower. Again, this buy side liquidity, although I've marked it out as a potential target, ideally price doesn't trade to it. I'd like to think that we don't actually trade to it. So I'm not using this as a target like I did this one. I'm using it more as like, if we do run it, I'd be a little bit more suspicious of price and potentially be looking at continued rallying. But ideally, I'd like to think that price is going to struggle to get up there and that we can see lower prices. So yeah, overall tomorrow, let's go on the daily real quick, because I haven't even looked at that yet. Overall, one thing to take note of is that we've filled this fair value gap in, and then we're expecting a down close week, so I'm not expecting much rallying at all, and I'd like to think that dollar can have a down close day tomorrow. So any kind of rallying above that midnight opening price, I'd be looking for shorts on dollar with longs on the pairs, with the expectation that we can see some kind of resistance found and price to then trade on lower. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. Let's take a quick look at the 4-hour. Again, you can see how we're kind of stopped in our tracks at this bearish order block, which is nice to see because it means that bearish PD arrays are acting bearishly. And then again, here's that buy side liquidity target I was talking about. And again, but remember, it's not specifically a target. Price doesn't have to go there. It can, and I'm happy if it does. But generally speaking, tomorrow I do want to see some kind of reversal, and then I want to see price start to work its down into the sell side. And more specifically, when I say sell side, I do mean Tuesday's low and then Monday's lows, and then, you know, this low. So I'm going to get rid of this for now because I no longer really care about that. But look at how clean these relative equal lows are. They're not going to leave that down there, and it's nice to see that we have that as a sell side target. But we have to be sure, as in we have to see a clear displacement and reversal for us to be confident with expecting price to want to wander on down there. So that's going to be everything on dollar. I hope that all makes sense. We are going to head on to GBP USD. Let's go to the daily. Again, watch yesterday's video if you haven't already, because this is going to be quite a short video, and yeah, very interesting. So we wanted to see some kind of low get created, ideally around this time of the week, and you'll see that we did have a down close day, quite interesting, and we did trade lower. So let's go to the 4-hour and see where we actually managed to trade to, and you'll see that price failed to take out any kind of low, which is interesting. So let's have a look. So I had this marked out and I had this marked out, and I was saying I'm happy for price to drop down here or here to create a potential low. But what's interesting is that pound failed to do so. So we're seeing a level of strength in pound right now. Yes, we came down and grabbed these tops. I do like the fact that we did that. So we've accumulated some kind of sell side liquidity in that we've taken out Monday's low. But since then, price has failed to get back below that Sunday opening price. So look at how price is trading around it. We're above it here, and then we're still remaining above it. So, you know, this is showing significant strength on pound's behalf, especially the way that yesterday on Monday, price ran out that other high. So, you know, this is something to be, you know, wary of. And with that in mind, we can now stop thinking about what potential sell side targets price may want to trade to. As you know, we're expecting an up close week, and then we can start thinking about premium, we can start thinking about premium PD arrays to trade to. So let's go to the 4-hour. And I'm going to keep this here just so that we can see that we've taken out sell stops. And then in terms of buy side liquidity, I'm going to move this up here, just because this is where I'd want to see price reach for if we're going to see a continuation of this kind of behavior. But it's nice to see this kind of expansion. And again, look at how price is respecting its bullish order blocks right here that we can see respect. And then more recently, if we look at this bullish order block, bounce into it here, and you can see how price is playing around with it here and has expanded away from it. So there's no reason for us to expect price needs to come back down here, especially the way we accumulated stops very slightly below these Monday lows. As far as I'm concerned, it's done down there, and we should be able to see some continuation. If price manages to somehow break through this consolidation, like look how much back and forth price action there is, back forth, etc. Let's just draw out this range. If price manages to drop through that somehow, whole different story. But as far as I'm concerned, it shouldn't. And what I mean by that is that we don't want to see price do it. It can, and I'm not saying it can't. Price can do anything. You know, there's only so much we can predict. But if it does, it's hinting to us, it's saying something to us. It means that we're probably on the wrong side, because a consolidation that heavy with an expansion away from it like that, when price returns to it, it shouldn't be able to easily trade through it on the downside, especially when you see us expanding away from it like that. So definitely paying attention to this consolidation range. And then obviously in the London session, I'd like to think, yes, we can tap into it, but ideally price shouldn't be able to drop through it, because that'd be concerning at that point for me. And then obviously we have a buy side target above here, and then we also have these relative equal highs here and here and here from today's highs. So generally speaking, very interesting. But the strength, this is very odd strength in that, you know, it seems very obvious that there's strength on pound here. So we need to take that into consideration, in line with dollar tapping into highs which we drew out, which we knew were going to get tapped. You know, there's something going on, and I will look at divergence in a bit at the end of the video, so make sure to stick to the end. Let's just finish up on Euro USD. And you'll see how price is tapped down into the fair value gap, just as we anticipated. We didn't quite trade down to the range which I anticipated, so which I expected. So yes, we tapped into the fair value gap, but we didn't quite trade into this range, which is actually a breaker range as well. Now, it doesn't mean that price can't still do it. I'm happy if it does. The same way on dollar, I'm happy if dollar does rally slightly more, maybe taking out this high and getting towards this buy side. It's not the end of the world if it does, and like I said, we have room for that. We've allowed for that. So I'm happy where price is on euro right now in relation to dollar. Let's just move this to here. Make that dotted. And then again, tomorrow, if we don't, tomorrow is when I'm expecting a reversal. If we haven't already reversed, I don't believe this is a full-on reversal. In that we need to see large expansion, we need to see movement. We haven't got that just yet, and we haven't had that all week. So that's why I think they're pushing and waiting for Wednesday to create that movement where we have quite a lot of sentiment, and you'll see what I mean by that. But nonetheless, I'm happy for price to drop down into this range. The very lowest I want to see it go would be, the low off here. Any lower than that, I'll be suspicious of price. But other than that, I'd want to see euro start to push on higher in line with pound. And look at these relatively equal highs. You can see how price is engineered. Relatively equal highs above here. They're leaving that there for a reason. So moving into the Wednesday, I'd like to see that. I'd like to think that price can target that, if not on Thursday, but we can talk about that tomorrow. And then I want to see us get back above that Sunday opening price. So remember, we're expecting an up close week, so we expect the lows to be made on Monday or Tuesday, and then I want to see expansion for the rest of the week. So right now, this is in line with our thoughts, with our expectations. Same with dollar. We expect a down close week, so we want to see the high be made on Monday or Tuesday, and you can see we've been rallying early in the week, so we're now anticipating some kind of reversal. So you can see the process which my brain is going through. Now, what I am going to do is I am going to take a quick look. I'm probably going to clear my charts, to be honest. They are a little bit messy and it is stressing me out a tiny bit, but we are going to look at some divergence. So let's add Euro USD and let's add GBP USD. And then we can see the strength which I was talking about on pound, which I'm finding quite interesting. Right, so you'll see that pound is making higher higher lows, sorry. And Euro's making lower lows. And then you can see that dollar's also making higher highs. So if pound's making higher lows, we should be seeing dollar make lower highs, and we're not seeing that. Same like euro and dollar. Basically, pound's the only one that's hinting to us right now and saying to us that they want to go higher. So there's some kind of divergence here. Now, don't get me wrong, divergence can be the opposite, in that what we're going to see is pound be forced to catch up and it drop off precipitously in order to then catch up with euro's drop. It's just that because of my bias for the week, I'd like to think that GBP is the one that's hinting to us, saying, look, we want to send price higher on the pairs, and then what we'll find is that euro may catch up. So you'll see what I mean tomorrow by that, ideally, hopefully. But let me just look at Euro USD, Euro GBP, just see how that's trading. And you can see there's significant weakness in Euro GBP. So that explains why we're seeing that strong divergence right now. But let's go to the daily. Yeah, it looks like Euro's going very heavily low. I wonder why. But yeah, that explains the divergence. But generally speaking, as far as I'm concerned, I would like to think that pound's the one that's hinting to price and showing the divergence in that there's a willingness to go higher, especially the way it's created this consolidation here. Like I said, I've got my eye set on this. Any lower than that, if price manages to drop through it, fair enough, I hold my hands up and we move on. But my point is, moving into the new day, we shouldn't see price be able to just drop through that easily. If it's going to do it, so if price is going to drop through this, it's going to do it on the back of news and it's going to keep running. Because the way it's stacking on price, the way we've taken out Monday's lows like that and moved away from it, it's a little bit too supportive for my liking. And like I said, with dollar, the way we just about took that high, it very lazily did it and it ran stops at the same time. I wouldn't be surprised if dollar started to fail, but yeah. So make sure to drop a like, drop a comment, smash subscribe, join the mailing list, join the Discord, and yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.